What do you do when the person you've built your entire world with starts living in another one? It was a Tuesday night, the city lights of Chicago painting streaks across our bedroom window, when I first saw it. A shopping bag from La Perla, tucked away in the back of Isabel's closet. Inside, nestled in tissue paper, was a black lace lingerie set so delicate it looked like spun shadows. My heart did a stupid little flip. But days turned into weeks, and she never wore it. Not for our anniversary, not for my birthday, not on any of the nights I tried to close the growing distance between us. The box just sat there, a silent, silken lace accusation, and I started to understand that the lingerie wasn't for me, it was for someone else. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The first time she wore it, I wasn't even in the same zip code. I was in a sterile conference room in Milwaukee, closing a deal I'd worked on for 6 months. I remember calling her, my voice buzzing with excitement, telling her I'd be home early. Her response was, distracted. "Oh, that's great, honey. Just, having a girls' night?" "Don't rush a girls' night." The lie was so simple, so casual, it slid right past me. But when I got home, the house was empty and silent. The lingerie box was gone from the closet. A cold dread, heavy and suffocating, settled in my gut. That was the night the slow, agonizing unraveling began. The little things started adding up, like breadcrumbs leading to a monster. Late nights at the office that didn't make sense for her department. Vague receipts from restaurants on the Gold Coast I'd never been to with her. Her phone, once left carelessly on the kitchen counter, was now permanently attached to her hand, screen down. One evening, I came home to find her dressed for a charity gala. She was breathtaking in a deep emerald gown, but her eyes were cold, distant. "You look amazing, Izzy," I said, trying to sound normal. She just gave a tight, dismissive smile. "Thanks. It's a big night for the firm." As she walked out, her perfume a new one, something musky and expensive lingered in the air. I stood there in the foyer of our Lincoln Park brownstone, the home I'd poured my soul into, and felt like a ghost. The humiliation was a physical thing, a hot flush crawling up my neck. She was living a life I wasn't a part of, and she wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. She was flaunting it. The discovery came, as it often does, through the cold glow of a screen. She'd fallen asleep on the couch, her phone slipping from her hand. For weeks I had resisted the urge, telling myself I trusted her, that I was being paranoid. But that night, seeing the faint smile on her sleeping face, I couldn't stop myself. His name was Marcus, a senior partner at her law firm. The texts were a punch to the gut. Explicit, detailed, filled with shared jokes and future plans. They talked about a weekend trip to a boutique hotel in Miami. They talked about me, calling me predictable and clueless. But the message that broke me was the last one she sent before dozing off. "Coant? Wait to wear the new set for you again?" He's never even seen it. The screen went blurry. I stumbled into the bathroom and threw up, my body convulsing with a pain so deep it felt like it was tearing me apart from the inside. Isabel became a different person. The warmth she once had was replaced by a chilling, manipulative coldness. Every question I asked was met with gaslighting. "Why are you so insecure lately? You need to stop being so controlling. Maybe if you were more exciting, I wouldn't need to work so much." She and Marcus were untouchable, wrapped in the arrogance of their secret. I saw him once, at a company event she dragged me to. He was tall, with a smug, self-satisfied grin, and a handshake that felt like a challenge. He looked right through me, his eyes filled with a dismissive pity that made my blood run cold. They thought they were smarter than me. They thought I was weak. For a while they were right. I broke. There were nights I'd just drive along Lakeshore, drive for hours, the city lights a blur of indifferent stars, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. The man who had been so sure of his life, his love, his future, was gone. In his place was a hollowed-out shell, filled with a quiet, simmering rage. That's when the shift happened. The grief curdled into something else. Something strategic. Something ruthless. My breakdown was my camouflage. I let her see me as broken. I played the part of the sad, pathetic husband she believed me to be. And while she was busy living her double life, I started building my case. I hired the best private investigator in Chicago, a grizzled ex-cop who operated out of a dusty office on Wacker Drive. He was expensive, but he was thorough. Photos, videos, hotel folios. He got everything. I learned their routines. Tuesday and Thursday nights at the Peninsula. Lunches at a discreet Italian place in the Loop. I saw pictures of my wife, the woman I'd promised to love and cherish, laughing with him, kissing him, wearing the lingerie she'd bought with our money. Each photo was a fresh stab to the heart, but I saved every single one. I opened a new bank account and quietly started moving my assets. I met with a shark of a divorce attorney, a woman whose reputation was legendary. We didn't just plan a divorce, we planned a demolition. The trap was set for the firm's annual partners' dinner at the Art Institute of Chicago. It was their biggest night of the year. Marcus was set to receive an award. Isabel was glowing, convinced she was on the verge of having it all: the promotion, the affair, the easy divorce from her boring husband. I arrived late, looking exactly as they expected, defeated. I took my seat at the table, nodded politely, and waited. As the main course was being cleared, the firm's managing partner stood up to present Marcus's award. He began a glowing speech about Marcus's integrity, his leadership, his unwavering commitment to the firm's values. At that moment, a courier walked in and handed a thick manila envelope to every single person at the head table, including the managing partner and his wife. And another one too, Isabel. Inside was a meticulously compiled portfolio. The hotel receipts, the text messages printed in damning black and white, and the photos, undeniable photos of Marcus and Isabel in the hotel, in his car, at the restaurant. The final photo in the stack was a close-up of the La Perla price tag, followed by a copy of our joint credit card statement showing the purchase. The silence in that grand hall was absolute. You could hear a pin drop. The managing partner's face went from confusion to crimson rage. Marcus froze, his smug smile melting into a mask of pure panic. But my eyes were on Isabel. I watched the color drain from her face, her hand trembling as she stared at the evidence of her betrayal. It was made public in the most humiliating way imaginable. Her perfect world was incinerating around her, and she knew it. The managing partner threw the portfolio on the table and walked off the stage without another word. The event was over.
Ow.
The next day, Marcus was fired, citing a morals clause violation. Isabel was suspended, her career in ruins. The divorce was swift and brutal. The prenup I'd insisted on, and she'd laughed at, held up. The evidence of infidelity was so overwhelming, she didn't get a dime more. She lost her job, her reputation, and the man she'd thrown our marriage away for. I sold the brownstone. I moved out of the city. I never saw her again. Sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet, I think about that black lace lingerie. A ghost of a memory, a symbol of how easily a life can be torn apart at the seams.